What's poppin', everyone? You got your coach of the Chim Chargers here today for our Week 6 battle of the WBE. Currently 5-0 right now, looking to be 6-0, and we're taking on my buddy Duncankneedeep, coach of the Freestate Torracats, a great friend of mine, of course. And as you can see by his team, he has Gliscor, Politoed, Xatu, Mega Medicham, Gengar, and Tapu Koko. Pretty cool team overall, and we are of course bringing our squad from the building video from yesterday, so feel free to check that out for all of the details of my sets that I'm bringing. Link in the description below as always. So I think he's bringing Weatherless, judging by the look of his team. He could probably have Drizzle plus maybe Thunder Koko or something, but I don't see any Swift Swimmers, I don't see any Rain Abusers, so I'm thinking this might be Water Absorbed Politoed just so that he could deal with Suicune specifically. So I think, of course my team is very well prepared for both Weather and Weatherless squads, so I think I'm not too worried about, him bringing Weatherless, even though my team is pretty prepared for Rain as well. I think it didn't really catch me off guard too much, but we definitely have to play around that. I think that Abomasnow is something that can lead off really well versus him, because I am a Focus Sash set, and I do have Blizzard and Giga Drain, which the combination of the two do really well versus him, especially since, as you can see, he doesn't really have anything that can resist a Blizzard and a Giga Drains. Like, one or the other will do a lot of damage to the entirety of his team. So with Focus Sash, I can really deal with a lot of his threats, and with Protect, I do have Protect on Abomasnow, so I can, take a round of Fake Out, or not take a round of Fake Out, so that I can preserve my Focus Sash and attack anything that's in front of me, pretty much. So I feel like his potential leads are going to be Gliscor, because it might be able to set up rocks early on in the game, perhaps scout out what I'd lead with, maybe with Protect and Toxic Orb and stuff. Or he could also lead with the Xatu, which also packs U-turn, or even Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is a great lead in many scenarios. It can U-turn, it can Volt Switch, depending on what his set is. And even like, I guess like there are a lot of potential leads for him. Like Medicham could even lead off with, because he could Fake Out and stuff. He could also lead Gengar. Gengar leads are not too uncommon either. Same for Xatu. So I don't think he'll lead Politoed. I think everything else is a pretty fair lead, but I feel like Abomasnow kind of beats a lot of them. So I feel like the Abomasnow lead is great, and especially also that the fact that Scarf Diggersby puts in so much work versus his team. As you can see, a lot of his Pokemon are outrun by Scarf Diggersby unless they're Choice Scarf themselves, and he doesn't really have too many good physical walls other than Gliscor, and Gliscor gets pressured by Pokemon such as Abomasnow, Suicune, and my Calm Mind Cobalion. So I think that we have a pretty solid matchup for sure. And let's just get right into this game. My overall game plan, of course, going into it was to try to chip down his Pokemon, get rid of maybe the Gliscor and Xatu, or weaken it enough so that Scarf Diggersby can put in a lot of work. And so let's see if we can make that happen here. Let's see if we can put in some work with those Pokemon. And let's begin this match, Week 6 of the WBE, of course. And Duncan decides to challenge me. This may or may not be his first mistake. We will find out right now. He leads off with the Gliscor, as I decided to lead off with the Abomasnow, so that's not bad at all. I have a Gliscor in front of me, nice ×4 Mon weak to Ice, and I can get up the Hail immediately, so my Blizzards can be 100 accuracy. Turn 1, he goes for the Protect here, so I'm like, okay, he's probably trying to scout and see what I want to do initially right off the bat. And I go for the Blizzard here. Of course, it doesn't hit him, so he's going to be taking that Hail damage and activating his Toxic Orb. So now he's going to switch out here into his Politoed. I guess it was his only sort of Blizzard switch in, so I could have predicted that, but I figured it was not really worth it in case he decided to stay in or something for whatever reason. But yeah, so I go for the turn 2 Giga Drain here, doing a lot of damage to this Politoed. He's gonna be able to Toxic me. Maybe I should have switched out, but I think getting off big damage on the Politoed is pretty useful for especially Diggersby in case this was a defensive Politoed. So I thought it was pretty worth it, so I stand by my play. And he's gonna switch out here into his Xatu, as probably trying to take a Giga Drain, but I anticipated to switch out a Politoed and go right for the Blizzard, and he gets buffeted by the Hail, so Xatu's already out of the way. Turn 3, we got rid of the Xatu, which is pretty good for us, really, really good for us, of course. So he's going to go here into his Mega Medicham. I can expect him to either go for a Fake Out, maybe to get some more poison damage and some initial chip damage, or even a Drain Punch to knock out my Abomasnow. He decides to Mega Evolve here, stay in. I'm like, okay, Clefable is a great switch in, I think. And he reveals Poison Jab, so I'm like, shoot, I forgot this thing got Poison Jab. Good lord, does so much damage. And I'm able to eat up my Papa Berry, though, get back to a decent amount of health here. So I'm like, okay, now that I know this has Poison Jab, I'm not going to bring this thing back in on Medicham again. So I'm going to switch out here into my Mandibuzz, just so I can get some chip damage on him with my Rocky Helmet. But he goes for the Drain Punch, really solid play on his part, predicting my switch out of Clefable. Very risky play too. But yeah, then he goes for the Ice Punch here to knock out my Metabuzz. Like, I don't have a good switch into Mega Medicham. Not a lot of teams do, of course. So I'm going to go here to Diggersby. Just got to play my sacks right in order for me to win this game. And I'm going to threaten this Mega Medicham out as he goes into his Politoed to sack it here. And I go right for the U-turn so that I can, I guess, sort of scout any kind of switch that he goes for. Because I knew that he wasn't going to stay in. He was 100% switching out here. So he sacks Politoed. And then I can go into my Cobalion. The reason I go into this is so that he doesn't bring back in Medicham again. I want to bring something faster than Medicham so I can, I guess force out something that's faster than myself. And he brings in Gengar, so I can go here into my Suicune, which is AV, Assault Vest Suicune, which can take any hit. Even that Focus Blast Miss didn't matter because my Suicune would have literally just shrugged it off with no problem. So he's going to go here into his Tapu Koko. I realize that now that Politoed's gone, I can just click Scald, and he doesn't have a good water resist. So I'm going to go for the Scald here. It is almost 50%, so that's really nice, or just right around it. I'm going to switch out here into my Clefable just because I know that he's going to go for something that hits Diggersby. Wanted to try to figure out what set he was and scout that out. So I know for a fact now that damage means that he is probably Choice Specs Tapu Koko. So I'm going to safely go back into my Suicune, confident enough that that thing is Choice Specs. And as you can see, I shrugged that off really well with the AV. So he's going to go back into his Gengar. I'm going to go right for the Scald. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this thing could be Choice Scarf. He could probably have Trick or Destiny Bond or something. And my Clefable is kind of useless because it can't even counter Mega Medicham well at all or beat that thing. So I'm going to go into that. And as he goes for the Sludge Wave here, so I'm like, okay, if this thing is indeed Choice Scarf, then I want to try to figure out if my Diggersby, I guess figure it out in this sense, because I can go Diggersby. If he's locked in, then he'd be locked into Sludge Wave. I'd go for the U-turn into Cobalion. But it reveals that he is not Choice Scarf, so I'm going to go for the U-turn back into Suicune, which can take any hit from this thing. And he reveals to be a Will-O-Wisp set, so I'm like, okay, not too bad. He could be maybe Sludge Wave, or Sludge, yeah, the Poison move, Focus Blast, Will-O-Wisp, and maybe another attack or something. As you can see, he goes right for another Sludge Wave, and I'm able to eat that up pretty well. And I can go right for the Scald once again and knock him out. So Gengar is gone out of the way. Curse Body activates, so that's not too bad. I mean, I have a free move slot with like 3 other moves, so I'm not too worried about that. And he goes right into his Mega Medicham. I'm like, okay, he could have sub. Like I knew that he had Drain Punch, Poison Jab, Ice Punch, and I didn't know what his last move was, so it could have been sub. Maybe he went to this so that he could sub or something. So I thought my best bet was to stay in and just attack what's in front of me. But he Drain Punches, knocks me out. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, in order for me to have the greatest chance of winning this game, I need some kind of chip damage on this Medicham. I go for the Ice Shard even though he's going to Drain Punch and heal it back up. But my main goal right now is to get 1 round of hail damage on this Medicham. And that's actually going to make my Diggersby have a pretty good shot at knocking it out from the HP that it's at right now. Because I'm not going to give it another chance to Drain Punch to get it back to full, especially when the hail is up. There's no chance of Medicham recovering back to a full 100% health. So I'm going to go here into my Cobalion to force this thing out. I go right for the Z move in case he thought he could stay in and Drain Punch and just try to clean up my team with that. So I'm going to go for the Steelium Z Flash Cannon, Corkscrew Crash of course, and it's going to be doing a lot to the switching that he brought in, which is his Gliscor. As you can see, it does a great amount of damage. Very, very solid overall. And I'm like, okay, this is probably my opportunity. It's now or never to try to win this game. And I'm going to go for the Magnet Rise here on the Gliscor, expecting his set to be probably Protect, Earthquake. And as you can see, he has Knockoff, so I'm thinking, okay, he's Knockoff, maybe Stealth Rocks is his last move, perhaps, or some kind of Hazard Control. He had Xatu, so I'm thinking this probably had to have Stealth Rocks or something. But yeah, I just Magnet Rise so that I can make sure that I'm pretty much immune to Gliscor overall. As he goes for the Protect here, and I can set up that Calm Mind right now. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty clean. Getting up the nice special attack boost with my Spadef along with it. And I figured right now, my play was to, instead of attacking Gliscor, because I know that Tapu Koko was Choice Specs, my play was to Calm Mind a second time because of the fact that I would now be able to live an attack from a Specs Tapu Koko. A Specs T-Bolt, I can live it now, of course. He reveals it U-turn, so I'm like, huh, interesting. So did he not have Earthquake, or like what was his other move? So I was a little bit confused. I'm like, okay, that's still not too bad at all. He goes back into Koko. I'm hoping that he has U-turn, because if he has Volt Switch, then he'd be able to chip me down anyways. So he actually does reveal to have Volt Switch, which I thought he'd have. I thought he would have U-turn or something on the Koko so that he would not be locked into something versus a Diggersby. But he goes back into his Gliscor here. I can just Flash Cannon. to knock him out, which is still fine overall because he does bring back in Coco. He will be able to knock out my my Cobalion here with the Dazzling Gleam, which is still fine because I do have my Scarf Diggersby in the back, chilling in the back here. I can bring it out, of course, and I'm guaranteed faster than Tapu Koko, EV to outrun a max speed Tapu Koko, and I can just go ahead and get rid of this Pokemon here. He brings in the Mega Medicham, and it's about that time to find out if we can knock him out right here. He goes for the Fake Out, delaying the inevitable fate, and I can go here for the return, and look how much damage it does. Oof, not enough to knock it out. I got the lowest roll possible. Oh man, I got the lowest roll possible. That's crazy. And he was able to go for the Drain Punch to knock me out and win the game 1-0. Just barely win this game. Very solid game for sure. He played pretty well though. I can't deny he played pretty well, at least in knowing what Pokemon not to sack and stuff. It really came down to that roll. The exact damage calc should appear on your screen right now. With 1 round of hail damage, max attack Diggersby, and he was 12 HP Mega Medicham, so it would have done. It was a 56.3% chance to OHKO, which is still in my favor, and it's like more than 50%, but I guess it was kind of a coin toss in the end. So assuming like, I guess another scenario would have been, let's say for instance I Calm Minded only once instead of a second Calm Mind, and I knocked out Gliscor on the turn after that, then he would have brought in Coco. He was modest specs Coco. He told me he was modest specs, so because of that, he would have still been able to knock me out, even a +1 Cobalion at the range I was at with a T-Bolt. I'd go into Diggersby, he'd just have to click T-Bolt again or just sack Coco, and it would have been the exact same roll that we would have had to win essentially versus Mega Medicham. So in that scenario, like, nothing could have changed. If I Calm Minded once, it would have been the same thing. If I Calm Minded twice, as you can see, it was the same thing. I thought Calm Minding twice was my better play because I didn't know he had U-turn or Volt Switch, so I thought I had a better chance in that scenario. Another scenario I thought about was if I had actually gone for only 1 Calm Mind, attacked the Gliscor with Flash Cannon to knock it out, and then he went into Tapu Koko, and if I anticipated a T-Bolt and saved Cobalion, switched into my Diggersby as he locked himself into T-Bolt, all he would have had to do was sack the Tapu Koko, then he would go Mega Medicham. I would attack it, and if he lived the same role like he did in the end of this game, he would still restore enough HP, because he wouldn't go for Fake Out, he would just go for Drain Punch. He would get back enough HP so that he would be able to live an attack from Cobalion, which is still faster, but Cobalion's Flash Cannon won't be doing enough to knock out Mega Medicham, especially when it Drain Punches my full HP Diggersby. So I think probably my biggest mistake was switching in Clefable and Mega Medicham, because that kind of I was in the front for a while, then that kind of like leveled the playing field a little bit. But essentially, I think I'm not too mad about this game because I kind of lost it to a roll. As you saw, I just lost it to a roll, so I'm not too upset about that. And we're currently 5-1 right now with a +24 differential. So yeah, that's about it. But definitely a solid game for sure. I think this is the first time that Duncan beat me in any Pokemon game, so very proud of him, of course, for that. Great game for sure. And yeah, that's the power of the squad. I actually helped him draft this team too. You already know I'm only contributing to my own downfall here. But yeah, I think, like, winning 5 out of 6 games so far. We're already like halfway done with the season now. 5 out of 6 games, not bad at all, I think, and we'll definitely continue to go strongly. We'll bounce back next week, of course, as you already know. If you've been watching my draft games or my draft scene for a while now, you already know we get a loss, we bounce back with another like 3 or 4 or 5 wins or something. So it should be fine. I think this is the first loss in like a good month or so. In terms of draft leagues and stuff. Last one was like versus Chimp in the GBA, so that was yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Once in a while, you gotta see me lose once in a while. I can't be winning every single game. I gotta make sure they invite me back next season. So in the WBE, I can't be winning every game looking like I'm invincible. You already know I'm trying to get that second invite back. I gotta get invited back again. So but yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think, of course. Always looking forward to hearing from you all as always. I don't know, like, I think I played this game pretty well overall. I think it was really just the roll that kind of messed me up this game, because I kind of had an end game in mind, but and the percentage was in our favor too. But I mean, that's Pokemon for us, of course. You already know. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Of course, be sure to check out Duncan. His channel will be in the description. I will be watching his side of the game. He told me he was like really excited for that win. So definitely gonna be checking that out for sure. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys on the next video, and peace.